The CES used to be called the Consumer Electronics Show, but it has since expanded its focus to all things high-tech. It now hosts rockstar CEOs delivering eagerly awaited keynote speeches, as well as throngs of founders, investors, and visitors making deals on the sidelines. So what can CES tell us about upcoming tech breakthroughs? And how is Taiwan representing its tech prowess on the show floor? I'm Tomasz Koper, and this is Connected on Taiwan Plus. To give us an on-the-ground view from the event many call the world's most influential tech show, we're joined from Las Vegas by Andrew Lombard, the founder and managing partner of the investment firm Tesoro VC, and Daniel Yeo, the co-founder and CEO of MetAI, a startup exhibiting at CES 2026. Welcome, both of you gentlemen, to the show. Thank you for giving us your time. Andy, I want to start with you here. You've been at the event for the past 2 days. Can you give us a sense of what the buzz is on the show floor? What are people talking about? What is the next big thing?
Yeah, I believe it's AI everywhere, which is a really encouraging thing. It's daily AI. It's in our lifetime. So we're finally seeing the emergence of AI in almost everything, a part of our day, which is encouraging. Whether that's, lots of lawnmowers. I can't believe how many lawnmowers are there. And robotics, physical AI, the infusion of AI. I don't think I saw one demonstration or one booth that didn't have AI associated with it, including the coffee makers. So it was pretty cool to see. I think it's important, and we're starting to see a lot of great usages of it. And I think it's really just AI everywhere is where I'm coming off at.
Well, AI coming soon to a lawnmower near you. Daniel,
yeah, no kidding.
Daniel, what stood out to you as an exhibitor at this year's CES?
Yeah, so I want to echo on what Andy basically said. I think physical AI is kind of one of the strongest themes this year. And I think what is interesting is that I think the conversation has shifted. So it's not longer just about all these smarter algorithms or all these better models. It's about how we adopt AI into the real world. So like robots, autonomous systems, and industrial AI are moving, I believe, from demos into real world deployments. And I think that kind of has a very unique way of us when we are going into exhibitions. So yeah, one quick sharing is that like besides our exhibition booth, like there's this robot boba tea that is just beside our booth. So like people are getting all in line trying to get their boba tea, and I think that is like one great example of how AI can be getting into the real world. Yeah.
Well, Andy, CES bills itself as the largest and most influential tech event on the calendar in the world. Is it really all that? And if it is, then what is it doing differently to earn that position?
I think it is. I really think it is. If you just look broad tech, I mean, there's compute conferences, there's each of the large mega companies that have great symposiums throughout the year. They're fantastic. And those are deep tech and very important to what we're doing. But I mean, if you just start to take a walk in the global village where you have just almost every country represented with startups and see the innovation that's going on, for us as a venture capital firm, we can go from demo to demo, founder to founder, and really get an incredible landscape in 3 days, 4 days, of which we probably wouldn't be able to do in 2 years. So I think it's an amazing thing. And then if you go upstairs, you see some of the innovation occurring. We call it consumer electronics, but I'm seeing just such deep tech being done to create the consumer electronics now. What I mean by that is the inference, the learning, the capabilities that all of the build out and the CapEx that's being used for so many purposes. We're starting to see the fruit of that. I think Daniel hit it right on the head. We're starting to see an integration in applications. So it's fantastic to see. And I do think CES, they impressed me this year. I thought it was great, except for one thing I just have to say very quickly. We've got to get Wi-Fi We have to have Wi-Fi. It's the funniest thing. We all joke about it. There is no Wi-Fi at CES. So shout out, please, CES, Wi-Fi next year, man.
That is very interesting. And one thing that CES does have every year is rockstar CEOs. So let's take a look at one of them. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang's comments often chart a course for the whole industry and can have great influence over markets. No wonder then that his keynote speech was one of the most anticipated elements of CES 2026. Here's what he focused on this year.
We know that large language models isn't the only type of information. Wherever the universe has information, wherever the universe has structure, we could teach a large language model, a form of language model, to go understand that information, to understand its representation, and to turn that into an AI. One of the biggest, most important one is physical AI. AIs that understand the laws of nature. And then, of course, physical AIs is about AIs interacting with the world, but the world itself has information, encoded information, and that's called AI physics. AI that, in the case of physical AI, you have AI that interacts with the physical world, and you have AI physics, AI that understands the laws of physics.
Daniel, this is somewhat in line with what you were saying, AI finally making it into the real world, out of the labs. What did you take away from Jensen Huang's speech? Is this really going to be a trend to look out for?
Yeah, I think it's not a trend anymore. I think it is actually happening in all the industrial spaces that we can think about. There's this very, very cool sharing of Caterpillar earlier today, which they are also incorporating like embodied AI into their like heavy duty machines that are doing like construction sites. So I think physical AI is actually happening, and one of my biggest takeaways in Jensen's keynote is the emphasis on both physical AI and AI physics. And I think that lots of people are talking about robotics. Robotics is also not necessarily a trend, but actually something that is going to happen in the industrial world. And I think if that's really going to happen, if people really believe so, then AI that understands physics will be so important, because you would never be able to teach robots how to perform tasks with texts. You would need them to understand how they would operate missions in the real world, in a virtual world, so that they can test out different solutions in virtually in a digital twin, so that it came to a point where it really understands physics and can perform tasks in the real world. So yeah, I think that is really interesting, at least from my perspective.
Well, Andy, what's your take on that? Will Jensen Huang's words really reverberate across the industry, and how quickly and how far will that go?
Now, and yes, 100%. Daniel and I couldn't be in a more agreement. I'd like to have a couple of disagreements, Daniel, so we got to figure this out, but we do
Sure.
see it the same. So take an example of what this is. So physical AI, if you start to think about Barrows Neurological Institute, happens to be in Phoenix, Arizona, where I live, has partnered with Neuralink, right? So Neuralink's Elon Musk's brain chip interface, basically looking to emulate STEM responses so that we can help quadriplegics walk. So what was interesting to me today is that other people were building the robotic skeletal structures for people to step into that will want to walk. And now you could start to see the capability of the physical AI side of that interfacing to a chip that actually now sends the impulses and the neurons to those robots to say, I want to walk and take a step and move. This is going to be game changing, and this is just the start. We're going to look back on 2026 CES and say, wow, that might have been primitive. I think this is going to go very, very fast. I think people like Matheson from SoftBank is right. You know, let's go invest $1 trillion in an AI physical robotics city and go create this infrastructure at a rapid pace, because we can now. Things can be done quicker. 10 years we used to take to do things we can do now in 2 years. I think that's going to end up being 1 year or maybe even 6 months, several years from now. So I think it's going to be an exciting time. I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Well, Daniel, both Huang and Siemens President Roland Busch talked about using synthetic data in training AI models. For those of our viewers who might not be familiar with that, why is that significant? What's the difference between that and what we're doing right now, and what are the potential benefits?
Yeah, I think synthetic data is a really exciting technology. So let's say that like lots of people were discussing synthetic data in 2022 when that was kind of like a trend, but then it fell off during 2023 to 2024, and then miraculously, like late last year, synthetic data saw a huge rise on this on the trendy side as well. And I think the reason for that is because like physical AI is going into industries, and for physical AI to really be adopted by industries, the biggest challenge actually is not the model architecture or the intelligence. It's actually the data, because lots of data in the real world are really hard to it's really hard to collect in the real world. So because all these real world industrial data is scarce, is expensive, is risky to collect, and you will not be able to collect tons of rare edge cases in the real world. So you cannot afford those thousands of failures in order to create that specific type of data. So synthetic data actually allows us to generate environment level data, and not just images or labels, but it actually solves the data insufficiency problem for robotics to be trained that understands how rare edge cases happen. So I think synthetic data is so valuable because it gives AI a kind of like a precise or repeatable and a scalable training ground where it can fail safely and learn physics and generalize before it even touches the real world. So that is the value of synthetic data.
Well, Andy, another major focus at CES 2026 is health tech, which also happens to be your area of investment, your area of expertise. Besides what you mentioned already, have you seen any other breakthroughs that might be of particular interest to people who actually need healthcare services?
Yeah, I think let me cover that in a second, but let me just chime in on the synthetic data side. It is important. It's critical. There's no free lunch. We know that with synthetic data. So I think the technologies that are going to be created to create synthetic data are very important for reduction of biases, amplification, reality gaps, poor generalizations, hallucinations, hidden data leaks. These things can be handled. We need to make sure that the technology around synthetic data is doing the things that we want it to do to create the positive data. So I think that it's a beautiful field. It's needed, as Daniel said. So we can't get all the data to do this. So and also just to your question, Thomas. Yes, I do health investment. I do AI health investment. But we also converge AI and semiconductor alongside of that. So on the health side, it's just an amazing time. Anywhere from taking the compute that's being produced at a rapid rate globally, and now using that to, again, squeeze the cycle time to intensity points of new molecule discovery for drug discovery, or utilizing this technology to navigate for better imaging inside of a body, and then going even further to try to define biosynthetic semiconductors that can be used in various aspects, including neuromorphic chips, other brain chip elements, and other physical interfaces to human tissues. This is going to be fantastic stuff. And I think just even on the really highest level, we're going to be using AI to do things that many humans did. So, and I don't think it's just about replacing jobs. I think we become, and I do believe this, superhuman, because the human aspect of it is going to be, we can focus on the really important stuff. We can really have people start to do the less menial and the more important tasks around this, including in healthcare. And hopefully improve that so that we can make it more efficient and more cost effective, certainly in the United States is required. So I'm excited about that.